People, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the video. If this is your first time coming across my content, seeing my stuff, Wizzo, you're welcome. Today's video, it's going to be, 6 signings that were made during the transfer window that I believe are going to be a hit in the league. And then I picked out another 6 that I believe are not going to hit, the heights that, the fans of those clubs believe they might. The intention, honestly, was to focus on like the traditional big 6, but I just figured, you know what, I'm just going to kind of keep it generic. I'll keep it general, keep it neutral, and just go with 6 that I believe are going to be good, 6 that I believe are not going to be so great. And again, some people would agree, some people wouldn't agree as much. So let's get into it. Give me 1 second. Let me pull this up. So we're going to do signings of the season first, and then we'll finish it with a flop of the season. And you let me know how you feel about that. Hop in the comments. Let me know what you think. Let me know who you believe should be on that list and who shouldn't be. So, signings of the season. I went with Calafiori, because if Calafiori does not happen to be a good season, listen, Arsenal fans are going to have to hold that L. Like, I can honestly say not a lot of people have watched Bologna. Calafiori was one of those guys that, we all saw during the Euros. And the few games he played in, even I was moved a bit. I was like, you know what? This guy looks like one of those fullbacks who's comfortable going into midfield. He looks tidy on the ball. Interceptions, tackling was pretty good. And now Arsenal have signed him. It's now all about the aura, and it's all about how great he looks, as per their fans. So for me, I think this signing has to work. This signing has to be a hit, and they already have a good defensive structure anyway. Saliba, Gabriel, you add Timber, who's already back from injury, looking like a new player as well. You have Ben White, Tomiyasu when it's available, Zinchenko. I think with the structure they have defensively, Calafiori could have a lot less pressure on him to come in and perform, because the unit is already solid anyway. So him coming in, he can have it, really comfortable and just kind of bet into the team. And I believe he would probably be a good signing of the season, one of the good signings of the season. But if he doesn't, then that's going to be very interesting. But I think for me, and also, by the way, this is in no particular order. Yeah, it's just, I just did 1 to 6. So Savio could have been 1, Calafiori could have been 4. Doesn't really matter. Amadou Onana, I believe, is going to be another good signing for Villa. Few games in, he's already gotten some goals. His combinations with Tielemans, McGinn, and the other kid who basically ragdolled the whole Arsenal midfield. But that midfield has some balance to it. Rodgers, that midfield has some balance to it, has some steel, has some height, has the passing and control with Tielemans. You got the workaholic and McGinn. You got Onana, who's kind of like your sitting 6. He's giving you that physicality in midfield, interceptions, breaking up play, getting forward when he has an opportunity. I think this is going to be a great signing for Villa. I'm not even going to lie. Good move for him to leave Everton, because let's face it, Villa and Everton are going to have different kind of outcomes this season. And if Villa are going to retain their position in the Champions League, I think Onana is going to have to play a big role. If they're gonna have a good season, Onana's gonna have to play a big role. Ross Barkley for me, again, another smart sign-in by Villa. Picked him up from Luton Town. He's already played for Villa before, but last season he was one of the good midfielders in the league. You know, he was controlling the tempo for Luton. He was controlling their play. I mean, he was like the creative outlet for Luton. So another one who I think, you know, come with some game time, you're gonna see Barkley really just pulling the strings from deep. You know what I mean? Chalobah is one I think he's also going to be a good signing for Crystal Palace. It's unfortunate he really couldn't get an opportunity with us, but I think him, Gay, they can form a nice little partnership for Palace. And the good and bad thing is he's the one of those guys that are looking to move on anyway. So if he has a good loan spell, he increases his value. He gets a move to Palace. If it doesn't, then they're gonna have to revisit that. But I think Chalobah is gonna be a hit with Palace. I think he's gonna form a solid partnership with Gay, and I think he's gonna have a good season. Next guy, I think Sancho. There was no way I was gonna put Sancho on this list, only because you look at the training videos, the pictures. You know, the guy looks like he feels at home. He looks like he's settling into his new surroundings. You know, he's a London boy, apparently. So for him, he's like, you know what? I'm back to where I guess he was raised or whatever. And he has a point to prove. Sancho's really not had it easy at Man United. But getting him for between 20 to 25 mil, I'm sorry, that's a steal. You know what I mean? So if he can just recapture some of that form from Borussia Dortmund in both, stints, listen, I think we have a fantastic player on our hands. That left-hand side, Sancho can really stake a claim. Even on the right, he can kind of stake a claim as well because he can play off both flanks. And more importantly, I believe he can play in and around that forward line. So I think Sancho is going to have a good season. I think he's going to be one of the signings of the season, and I hope he proves me right. And then Savio. We all know Savio in the few games he's played, and even before coming to the Premier League, the kid just looked like the Mahrez regen. He looks serious. He looks skillful. He looks creative. He looks dangerous all the time. So I think the 6 I have up there are going to be some of the players to look out for. And quickly, we're going to go through the other 6 that I believe are not going to really hit the heights. And again, some of you guys might be surprised at this list because it might not be what a lot of people probably think, or some of the names others would have picked. For me, the first one is Merino. I think with the way Merino's been gassed up, like you hear from certain people who have watched enough La Liga, they say Merino he wasn't even the second best midfielder in Sociedad. He was the third. And again, Arsenal fans are going to tell us that Merino is going to be the guy to play the number 8 role. He's going to be the guy to fill in the Xhaka role, provide them with the steal, some creativity, give him a good balance in midfield. And from his display in the Euros, Merino was actually moving really nice. But we'll see how he's going to adapt to the pace of the league, the physicality. Like, you don't have a lot of time on the ball like you think you might. You know what I mean? And I just feel, it's just a weird feeling that the expectation that certain fans have for Merino, I believe he might come short of that. Hence why he might be labeled one of the flops of the season. I couldn't really care less if he did well or not, because again, I'm not an Arsenal fan, but the hype around Merino, I just thought he might fall short of that. Dewsbury Hall, he's just not looked great any of his performances. So I think for sure, if he doesn't really buck it up, he'll be looking like one of the flops of the season. And then Matthijs de Ligt. Look, de Ligt just looks like he's not built. He looks like he's built for this league, but he just looks like another Harry Maguire for me, And I just don't see him really being the de Ligt we saw from Ajax. I mean, there's no doubt this guy's played for some of the biggest teams in Europe. Ajax, Juventus, Bayern Munich. but he's been bounced around 3 times already. Can he make a difference for Man United? I like to think not, because I just don't think he's been good enough in the last few years. And I don't see him being able to recapture that form because, bro, he's playing under Eric Ten Hag. That whole defensive shape just doesn't look right. They all look all over the place. And De Ligt will definitely be one of the flops of the season for me. Next, Solanke is one of the wild card ones. But the only reason I have him here is because I think you look at Bournemouth and a lot of their chances and everything was being kind of funneled through him, and everything was being, basically, he was being catered for. He was the center of that team. With Spurs, I don't see him being the main figure in that team. I think Son still has to get his goals, his contributions, and Son can have those moments where he likes to go for goal instead of maybe scoring it to Solanke. I just don't believe he adapts quicker to how Spurs want to play. I just think it might be like small fish in a big pond. When he was at Bournemouth, maybe he was big fish in a small pond. I think now it's going to be the roles reversal, and I don't think he justifies his price tag. Hence why I put Solanke in there. Kepa, I think Kepa's not going to do great at Bournemouth. Like, this guy is just, he's been a decent signing in certain parts, and then in other parts, he just looked like a terrible player. So Kepa for me is going to be another flop. And everyone on this list can prove me wrong, but it's just a feeling I have. I just don't see him doing well at Bournemouth. I see them conceding a shit ton of goals. But they probably still stay in the league. So we'll see how that goes. And finally, Jordan Ayew going to, I believe, Leicester City. I don't see what he really adds. I think he's way past it. He's never been clinical anyway. So just him in that team, I just don't see the point of it. And I don't think he does well. I don't think he really adds anything to Leicester's season. And hence why he's on that flop of the list. And then I'm going to finish this video off with my predicted lineup for the game against Bournemouth. I think we play the late kickoff, and it's the last game of Saturday. So I definitely want to see us get, that win in. And this was my starting lineup. It's simple. I don't think Lavia is going to be back fit in time. So, and you can't really, you can drop Enzo, but we just don't have any midfield options. So I'm going to go Sanchez and goal, Fofana, Colwell, Cucurella as your back three. Midfield, I'm going to go Caicedo, Enzo Fernandez, because again, I don't think Lavia is going to be ready in time. And these are the only 3 options we have. Casade, I don't see him coming into that role. Maybe you can argue for Vega, but I don't think Vega is really ready or is going to be trusted enough to start in this midfield. So for me, the deepest 2, Caicedo, Enzo. If you need Caicedo to kind of invert to that right back role defensively, you can have him do that. But I believe we're going to have a lot of the ball. So this formation should be able to work. And I'm going ultra attacking. I'm going Sancho, Nkunku, Cole Palmer. I'm going Pedro Neto on the other side. And I'm going Nicholas Jackson. I want to see the dynamic of Neto playing on the other flank instead of being on the left. I want to be able to see him cut in, go down the line, and be very unpredictable. I mean, Noni has done nothing to lose a spot, but it's just something different I want to see. Do I see Maresca playing this such an attacking forward line? Potentially not, but this is what I want to see. But with the options that we might not have in midfield, I can actually see something like this. Just bold. You can have Palmer and Nkunku as your 8s, Enzo potentially being your deepest line midfielder, and then you have Neto, Sancho as your wingers. I believe this lineup gets us goals. I see us conceding maybe 1 as well, because we're not looking like we're going to be getting any clean sheets anytime soon. But I think with the options you have right now, Neto, Palmer, Nkunku, Sancho, you should be able to score some goals. At least 3 goals from this team. And then on the bench, you can still have Noni come on. You can still have Felix come on. You want to throw Mudryk in, you can do that as well. Those are going to be the attacking changes you can make. I'm not sure if Gilson is going to be on the bench, but with this team, we should not be coming home with nothing but a dub. So for me, this is the team. This team should be able to get us 3 points. I don't care if it's going to be scrappy. Go get the 3 points, come back home. For me, that's it. You don't have to always be, playing the prettiest football. Just be effective. You know what I mean? Get the 3 points, bring it back home. That's it. So this will be my predicted lineup. I think we'll know more about Maresca's options and who's available tomorrow when he does the press conference. But that's what I'm going to go with. And people, listen, this is the end of the video. If this is your first time coming across my content, if you like something, if I say something you like, you disagree, hop in the comments, interact with the channel, like, share it, subscribe to the channel. Let's help build it up. And I will see you guys in tomorrow's video to do my, weekend preview and see how many scores I could predict right.